Recording in progress.
Are we
We're
good?
on the clock.
All right. Reed's driving to his house and he'll join.
He's what?
He's driving back to his house, so he only lives like 4 minutes away.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Didn't know you guys were basically neighbors.
That's why we throw all the time, because we're neighbors, pretty much. All right, well, you're recording this.
Yep, it's live. It's going.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Talking Wiffleball podcast. We're back again. Reed will be here in a few minutes. So last week we had Rapids U Dogs, Waves U Dogs. Unfortunate loss for the Waves. I mean, I felt like we put up an okay
Entertaining
fight.
game now. Entertaining game.
I mean, the first 4 innings I felt were very competitive.
Yeah, I mean the final score was what, 15-4?
Yeah,
But it was only like,
I I think it was 1-6 until the
yeah,
last inning.
it was pretty tight for most of the game, and then Reed kind of lost a little bit of, not he started getting hit, didn't he?
Blake hit him pretty early in the game, and then I think the last inning was. I mean, I don't. He kind of started walking people.
Yeah, well, he unraveled a little bit, we'll say. Even though only giving up like he didn't really unravel in the way that a lot of other people do in this league, but the game was starting to slip away, we'll say that. And then
Yeah,
Newsbox subbed you in and to stop the bleeding, and you did pretty well. But at that point, the game was kind of over because there was only an inning left.
I mean, I feel like we did a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, I
Hitting
the whole time I was
him
watching that, I was thinking National Conference Finals preview going on here. Is this what I'm watching?
possibly, and we'll see how that
Could
game goes
happen.
against the Bison when we play them. I think I need to send this to Reed, but yeah, I mean, pretty competitive game. So the Waves or the Rapids U Dogs game was fun to watch. I felt bad for Eddie.
It was entertaining in the complete opposite.
Opposite way. That poor guy.
Entertaining in that the Rapids were shorthanded and getting stomped, but everyone was like having a good time while it was happening, including the losing players on the Rapids, Eddie and Troy. So that's what you love to see about the league. You love to see a team lose by 30 and they appear to be enjoying themselves. That's what
I think my favorite part of that game was every time Eddie went to throw a pitch, he just looked at the hitter and just here you go.
Yeah, it was well, and he was obviously just doing that out of like habit from throwing
Like
beach
batting
ball.
practice. Yeah. It was just funny. I mean, Eddie's a funny dude. So yeah, I don't know. So what do we got next? I gotta pull up the post you just did.
Yeah, there's
It's
4 games next coming up on Memorial Day, Monday. Haven't set the times yet, but they should be evening time, probably around probably no earlier than like 4, but probably more like 5 or 6 in that range.
I'm gonna
This league
try.
light out really late right now too, which is a nice thing about this point in the year.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get out there to watch those. Are they? Is that in order? Like with the games are
No,
going?
no,
No.
they're just the 4 matchups that we know are planned to happen.
So we
Um,
we got we got Cobras Fog. How you feeling about that game?
that's an interesting game because well, on paper it doesn't look interesting because you got the 1-3 Cobras facing the 0-5 Fog, but it's an interesting matchup in terms of like which of these teams is gonna win and like feel like they're closer to being like a better team moving forward. Like the winner of that game will have some optimism, and the
Yeah, I
loser
mean,
the loser will be like, oh my gosh, we can't even beat the Fog, or wow, we can't even beat the Cobras. We just suck. Like,
I feel like I think you guys as in the Cobras are still like in arm's reach. I feel like it's a lot more possible for you guys to make a run at the playoffs than that. I feel like the Fog are just like in a really really deep hole.
Yeah, and I think the Fog know they're there, and I think the Cobras kind of know they're there too. The difference is the Cobras, if they beat the Fog, are like still in the playoff picture because they'd be 2-3, and the Rapids are 2-3, and the Waves are 3-3, but the Cobras beat the Waves head to head, so there's kind of that lingering out there still.
Yeah, well, I mean, we also have another game to play
Right. I
against
mean,
each
like
other.
the odds of the Cobras making the playoffs at this point are very slim. Basically, all a win over the Fog would do would extend the Cobras
It's just
like
giving you hope.
relevance for another month instead of it just being like over Monday.
Who's pitching? Who's throwing that game? You
Oh,
rocking
Kevin
with
pitched
Kevin?
this year. Kevin will pitch. Why would anybody else pitch?
I don't know. He keeps giving up 40.
I mean, yeah, but you gotta give a guy that seems to be a decent prospect like Kevin. It's only fair to like give that type of person like a good, because the season's only 8 games. Got to give him
Yeah.
a full year. I think usually you can make a determination on if a guy has kind of got the stuff or not by the end of a year if they've played in like all the games or most all the games.
Yeah. I mean, he
If you don't
gave.
have it by then, if you're not showing signs, you're probably not gonna be. But like, think about Blake Larwick on the underdogs as a rookie last year. He started out pretty mediocre, but you could see the signs. And then by the end of the season, he was like on fire and was he made it on the All-Star team. And like, he was
Yeah.
just super hot. You could tell this kid's going to be really good next year. So even though he didn't have like the best numbers by the end of it,
Oh, he's
well, they were pretty good.
definitely proven it this year. Yeah, Reed should be here. I'm sending him the code.
Oh, Reed's going to be joining us. Got any other guests that are going to come on?
But I wanted to, but I don't. I didn't get to talk to Jared, and
I
then
could try to, I have a mic right here. I could just like use my phone and like try
call him.
to call somebody and like just put the speaker right next to the mic if you want. Like just tell me to call someone. We can
Well,
try.
I put it out there after our game, and I don't think Blake or any of them wanted to do it. So I figured we'll just get Reed on again and have him talk about his performance. I mean, I feel like I'm less concerned about our bats now on the waves. I feel like we're starting to slowly our
I'm
bats are starting
still
to wake up a little bit.
I'm still concerned because I'm gonna look at your numbers right now and they're not great.
No, I mean I've been looking. I mean
159 through six
yeah,
games
as a team,
batting
it's not
average. It's not good.
gonna pull up our stat. I just feel like I saw the ball a little bit better
And you lead
that
the team with
series.
only 8 total hits.
Yeah, and then yeah, I mean I'm hoping Aaron can come to this next series possibly. That would that would be a big help.
It would be, yeah. Where's Reed? Is he getting on
No,
this? Or what is he
I
doing?
literally just sent him the link twice, and I don't think he's getting it. But yeah, I I think with the amount of practice we've been doing, I'm hoping we're going to start seeing that pay off soon. So, I mean, I've seen Reed a lot more than everyone else has seen Reed, so I'm starting to hit Reed, but that's got to translate over to everybody else.
Well, you guys better start hitting the ball to have any shot in the playoffs because once you get to the playoffs, everyone can pitch and it comes down to who can.
Yeah, two can hit. Yeah, that's my only worry. I know between me and Reed, someone's gonna be able to handle it in the circle. But if we don't hit the ball, we're gonna be screwed. And then
Yeah, I
hopefully,
mean, board watching works during the regular season. It's a good strategy to like, over the course of the season to get you in position to make the playoffs and all that, even if you lack talent compared to some other teams. But once you get in the playoffs, like teams just aren't giving up more than, I mean, 15 to 20 runs in the playoffs is like kind of a high scoring game.
yeah.
And that's below average in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, because you just played them. Did Did Blake Larwick kind of lock up MVP last game day?
I mean, as of right now, I would say yes, but that's kind of also pending on I think how Colt or Eric Titus finishes the season. Because I mean, if he does something like if he continues to hit like that,
Yeah,
it's
I
kind
mean
of like
that's
how we talked about it last week. But I feel like it's very, very difficult to beat out Blake for MVP right now.
right. That was the thing to me. Last game day is the amount of hits he got because coming into that game day, his ERA was like 6 something, and right now it's still in the six. It's like 6.47, which is second best only behind Colton. But Colton's only pitched a couple games and Blake's pitched 6, so there's that. But then
Yeah,
he came into that game day hitting like 290 something, and he left the game day now hitting 370.
Blake
So
did.
yeah, and their only 2 games left are Cobras and
Bison, right?
no, they already beat the Bison. It's like
They
maybe
play.
let me look.
Oh, have they played their out of conference game yet?
Yeah, they beat the or they beat the Express.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, Fog. So Cobras and Fog, like his
Oh,
his
yeah.
370 batting average is probably gonna go
Well,
up.
I think that probably changes things. I
Reed's
think I think probably now he's probably got that locked. Especially yeah, because I don't. I mean, it depends on I feel like how you guys hit him or play against him because I don't think the Fog are touching that.
Hello.
Hello, Reed. Welcome.
How far in are we?
I don't know. Okay, how far are we?
10 or 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes. We briefly talked about our game, Reed. I was waiting for you to come on. What are your thoughts about what happened?
I gave up too many hits.
I mean, he pitched a good game though. Like, let me pull up that game's box score.
I mean, like we said, like it was a. I mean, we were in the game until the top of the fifth.
Okay, you pitched 3 in the 3rd inning, gave up 12 runs, but and 5 hits, 8 strikes, 13 walks.
He pitched 3 in the 3rd.
I thought I
Yeah.
pitched 4.
I thought I came into the very last inning.
You did come, but that was the bottom of the 4th, and they didn't need the bottom of the 5th.
Oh, okay, I guess
So,
that's
but he gave up 12 runs. However, after the 3rd, he had only given up 6.
yeah.
Still the second least amount of runs anyone's given up to the U Dogs. The least amount was also
So-
me.
Pat yourself on the back there, Reed.
9.
Lick our wounds after losing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you pitched well.
Okay, get this. He pitched 3 innings, gave up 6 runs. Score was 1-6. Then, over the next his last 12 pitches of the game, which were all in the bottom of the 4th, he gave up 6 more runs. 12 pitches.
You had one bad inning.
Yeah, not even
And a
an inning,
couple
didn't
hits.
get an out.
Well, I mean, even if you went out there and threw a 0, I mean, we only scored, I think, 3 runs.
Yeah, I mean,
in
you
the
guys wouldn't have
bottom
won the
of
game.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we would have been in better spirits and may have hit the ball a little better, but I don't think it would have made that big of a difference.
I don't know. It just sucks. I wanted to beat the undefeated team, but
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
I feel like we were the last like legitimate hurdle for them to jump over. I think they're kind of just coasting to the finish line now to their
Are you resentful of
undefeated.
that? Are you jealous? Is this how are you feeling about that?
I wouldn't say I'm jealous. I mean, I know
Look
that
up their schedule.
no, I mean, I would like to have my last 2 games be against the Fog and the Cobras, but like we play them too. So it's like I'm more just a little sad we didn't win.
wait, their last 2 games were against the Fog and the Cobras.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're going 8-0.
They're-
I
No
got a
offense,
good question.
Cale, it's over.
I got a good question for you two guys as members of the Waves. Assuming you get in the playoffs.
No, I am not on PEDs.
What?
What the? How do you say that after losing? I'm not on
How do you
P.
think Cale heard me?
It was like I didn't hear each
He,
other.
he
I said,
said,
I said, no, I am not on PEDs.
Oh, I don't think anyone suspected that.
Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there. All right, what's up?
just had to make
I
sure.
mean, you're hitting let's see.
159 as a
No,
team.
okay, the joke's over. Stop.
Oh, worse. 118. So if you are taking PEDs, maybe get off of them.
I will say
Anyway.
in Reed's defense, Reed has I think 20 more at bats than the next person does on our team.
In Reed's defense, he has really good pitching numbers that make up for his poor batting stats this year.
In Reed's defense, I did have two hits off the best pitcher in the league.
But hey, I also had 2 hits and we still
No,
lost.
we're not
so
talking
what
about
does
you,
that
Brodey.
say?
Okay, we're not talking
All right,
about you.
all right,
We're
here's
not
a
talking about the
question.
backup pitcher of the Waves right now.
Here's a question
okay.
for you. You're 3-3, underdogs are 6-0, which means you can't get the 1 seed anymore. That's out of the picture.
Oh, well.
But assuming you make the playoffs, and assuming the Cobras miss the playoffs, and I don't think the Fog have technically been eliminated yet, but assuming they miss too. So your options for the NC.
I'd much rather play the Rapids if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Rapids.
I would much rather play the Rapids.
I would like to play the Rapids.
But also at the same
But here's
time,
the thing. Here's why
I don't want to duck Gage because I feel like it'd be a really good game.
Here's why I bring up this question though. You guys as a team are hitting the ball so poorly right now that Gage is a pitcher. If you catch him on a bad day, he can kind of just beat himself and walk you in a bunch of runs and give you the game. You don't necessarily have to get a bunch of hits. Or Rapids, who are probably they're less as good of a team, but Jared's going to put the ball in the zone. You guys are going to have to work to get your runs more.
I think we hit Jared though. We actually
Hit Jared better than we've hit anyone.
I think that was the one game where we actually had good hitting. Was when we beat. Reed had 4 hits and I had 2.
Cycle.
I don't think Anthony had to hit that game, but
I think he did. I think he had 1.
That's true. You guys had 6 hits in the game. Reed had 4. You had 2. You guys put up, but you only put up 17 runs still. You had 6 hits and it's only 17 runs, which in the JL is like actually very inefficient.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know because we both had homers and I think they were solos.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get 6 hits against Jared again? And if you didn't, let's say you got 4 hits, you'd have probably under 15 runs if it was like played out kind of the same way. Also, the thing about this game is this game went 6 innings. So you had 6 hits and 17 runs in 6 innings. By the end of the 5th, it was 15-15. So let's say you had 4 hits instead of 6. Now we're thinking around probably 12, 13 max runs. Are you confident in being able to hold them under that amount? Or would you rather just take Gage and think, we'll see if he just spots us 20?
I feel like playing the Rapids is just less of a coin flip. Like I don't want to leave it up to that, 50-50 shot of whether Gage is gonna be on or not. Like I think I'd rather just know what we're gonna get from Jared and like if he beats us, like he beats us and if we don't hit, we don't hit. Like that's just our Achilles heel as a team.
I also think if we played Jared, I think we hit better than we did last time.
Yeah, I mean I'm hoping I think our pitching can get us over that game. It's also like we can just hit. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's an interesting question because it's like it just depends on what Gage does when he shows up. Because it's like if Gage is gonna have a bad day, like I want to take that game against the Bison if Gage isn't gonna hit the zone, but like we're not gonna know. It's just we'll find out if we get there, right? So I don't know. I guess I could see it both ways, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, what other games we got? The Lawmen have a doubleheader against the Sasquatch. Sasquatch is in the Crew. They have to. I mean, they got to win out. The Lawmen.
Well, the Lawmen are playing the Sasquatches on Monday, so that
Lawmen
would
are out.
actually be a
Let's just be
double
real.
header.
Sorry, Colton.
I mean, yeah. I
They're
I think if they
0-4.
don't, yeah, but if they win out, they're still like mathematically it's possible.
Who do they have to play?
Yeah,
Or I guess I can actually.
Which team is this?
Lawmen.
They pull up the schedule.
They got Sasquatch, Crew, and then 2 more games after that.
Yeah, I
know
don't
if
think they win either of those
I don't
games.
know.
It's Colton.
Express and Sasquatch twice, Express and Crew.
Well, I will
don't-
say I went and watched Colton pitch a little bit today, and he looked very good. But I don't know if that's going to correlate to the game or not. But I mean,
I think the
hope
Lawmen
so.
get 2 wins. That's my prediction.
Do they play you guys
on
or
Monday?
no? Sorry.
No.
Or, like,
Like
on
I
the
think they'll
season?
finish 2 and 6. I think they'll either sweep the Sasquatches or they'll split with the Sasquatches and then pull an upset over one of those other 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a far off take, to be honest. But so say they do win out. What would the playoff picture look like for them? What would have to happen? Do you know?
For them to actually make it. We're talking
Yeah.
about an 0-4 team getting into the playoffs still.
Hey, I just
late May.
it's just
What am I
hypothetical.
saying?
This
What
is
have I been saying?
hypothetical. If they win out,
let's
They
see.
need to cut Colton. Colton's dragging that team down.
All right. So
Just
if they
Colton
went
slam.
4-0 in the back half, they finished 4-4. That would mean that the Sasquatch, they'd obviously jump Sasquatches. They would need the Express. Well, if the Express finished 4-4 also, and the Wrecking Crew finished 4-4 also, they would have those head to head, so they would be in, but they would also need the Wrecking Crew to lose a game to either the Bambinos or Lynx. That's probably likely. And they would need the Express to lose to the Lynx as well. Yeah, so they would need to win out and then have both teams basically lose to the Lynx, or the Crew beat the Lynx, but then lose once to the Bambinos.
That's another. The Crew is an interesting team right now. Oh, are you hitting the panic button a little bit if you're the Wrecking Crew right now, or do you think they're fine?
Talking to me or talking to Reed?
You.
I'm hitting the panic button on the Wrecking Crew. Let's see. Not quite, because although they do have to play the Bambinos and Lynx still, they also get to play the Lawmen and the Fog. I know they should beat the Fog even if they play poorly. The Lawmen could beat them if they play poorly. But I don't think I would take that bet. So I think they'll get to 4-4, which probably should be good enough, because I don't know, it's dicey though, because I think the Express can beat the Lynx, and if the Express beat the Lynx, they're also gonna probably beat the Lawmen, and that would put the Express in over the Crew.
Yeah. We talked about it last time. We said Bambinos, Lynx, Express, right? That was I think that was the 3 we came out with the AC.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if the Crew were in the national, like they would be, I'd have a whole different sort of opinion on them, I guess, because
Well, so say they're in the national, then what do you think?
well, if they're in the national, they're better than the Rapids, because they're effectively the Crew are built the exact same way as the Rapids, but they're like a way better version. You have 2 power pitchers in Chase and Jared, but Jared's better than Shagul by a whole tier. And then you have Josh and Ty, who are kind of like everything batters. So they can like hit the cycle, or they can go off and be like power hitters. And Josh is a way better version, or a whole multiple tiers above Ty. So they'd obviously be above the Rapids. and then they hit better than you guys. So I think they could give a team like the Underdogs a run because I think they could hit Blake. I just think, and then I think Chase just paints the zone so well, even though he kind of gets hit a little bit, that he could be Gage too, just because he'd be more efficient.
Well, I mean, we've already seen it happen.
Yeah, so we kind of went through this a little bit last week on like how I'm not sure there's a formula for the crew to like beat the Bambinos, whereas I think the crew could easily beat like any of the national teams just by the way they match up.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What else we got here?
I'm starting to think that the Underdogs could actually hang with the Bambinos.
You think so?
I am
I think
too.
they could.
My problem is I think it's interesting because I think like the Titus brothers are like I think they're better pitchers than Blake. But I think I don't know if I think the U Dogs could hit the Titus brothers, but I know the Titus brothers I'm pretty sure could hit Blake.
So I think that the U Dogs could hit Eric.
Yeah,
I don't know if they could hit Colton. However, the Underdogs are a very disciplined batting team as well. So, and Colton can be a little more sporadic sometimes pitching. So if they were to face Colton and Colton was kind of off, they're a team that's mentally disciplined enough to like just take pitches and get themselves easy runs. So
Okay, but that one kid on the U Dogs doesn't get his bat off his shoulders.
Anders, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
hold on. I have a question. Like,
I think in the playoffs,
I
Anders needs
understand
to
that
just
approach.
field. He
I do
needs to
too.
not
And I
bat.
think it's smart, but
I think he's the type of kid that would like be like, yeah, I'm not batting in the playoffs because I want to win, and like I recognize my team will do better.
Like, does he? I mean, I was talking about this with Reed. Has he swung the bat once this season?
Well,
I haven't
look
seen
at
him
his
swing.
stats.
I have not seen him swing the bat.
his batting average is probably better than mine, so I can't really talk shit about him. But
I mean, I know I totally understand the approach because it works.
He has
me
3
and
hits.
Brodey will play like
Okay, so he has
against
swung
each
the
other.
bat.
I do the
Okay.
same shit.
Like, I mean, I totally understand the not swinging part. It's just.
But here's the thing: he has 3 hits on the year in 6 games, which is like nothing, right? That's like he's hitting 103. But he also has himself 20 RBIs, which is like,
Yeah, just from walks.
right. Like, let me look at, you guys keep talking, but I'll find a good example.
I do think that their method for success in the playoffs is to just have Blake and Owen.
Like Brodey, you're a perfect example. You've played in 6 games. Anders has played in 6 games. You have 8 hits on the year. He has 3, but he has 20 RBIs and you have 26. So you have 5 more hits, but only 6 more RBIs.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think we're right though. I think having Blake and Owen hit more.
Yeah. Oh, and Brock if he's around for that day.
Yeah, that's also true. But I think I feel like getting your better, I mean, for everyone, I feel like getting your better hitters, like letting them see more pitches, you're gonna get a better chance to get that like instant offense, like homers.
And actually, we should give a shout out here to Owen Erickson because he's actually having a really nice year. He has 17 hits. He's hitting 333, 48 RBIs already. He's a second year player. So like last year he was kind of considered like another kind of like mediocre to below average, really like doesn't get the bat off his shoulder a lot, not really sure he's that good of a hitter. He's just really like productive analytically, but this year he's kind of proving to be like actually kind of a weapon.
Well, I think it's the fact that they practice. At least that's what I've heard. That they go and get off Blake.
The funny thing to me about Owen Erickson is that I don't know if many people even know this, but if they don't, Owen Erickson is the little brother of Ethan Erickson. And Owen is like twice his size and like
Yeah.
just like turning into like this big hitter in the league, whereas Ethan is like this little guy that's just known for like all his fielding crowns and who has historically been like just a terrible batter in the league. So they're
Yeah.
like polar opposites.
He pitched a pretty good game against the Express. I mean, 7 run. He gave it. What did he give up? 7 against
He
them.
did, but that was like an anomaly. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We have I just got the notification from Zoom. We have 9 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Okay. Okay. We talked about
I got
MVP.
a question.
Okay, go.
Kale, what's your plan for
see
the
it.
offseason to get yourself a solid, like, reliable pitcher?
Dude,
We talked about this already.
are you
No,
just
we
gonna bring this up
didn't.
every show? Like we haven't even played a new game since the last one.
Yeah, I know. What's your
I have nothing new to say on this subject.
all
Okay,
right?
I got a
Kevin's gonna
better
come out. Kevin's
question.
gonna come out and dominate the fog on Monday, hopefully, and we can put this conversation to rest.
There we go. See that good answer.
And
And
then
if
when
he
my
fails
in your
contract's up,
pitching.
If
you're
he
gonna start
doesn't,
offering
then
me
yeah,
all the
just
money in your
cut
bank
it.
account to be on your team.
God damn it.
If he doesn't, it'll be his last game pitched. And
And he's
Oh.
cut.
All right, Kevin. You heard it here. You
Kevin,
gotta
no
you
pressure.
better show out on Monday.
Your ass is grass if you don't throw it. Strikes.
Okay, so we talked about MVP last time. What other awards who do you think's gonna win the other ones? So we got what about the batting? Who do you think's gonna win the batting crowns? We'll start there. Shut up, Reed.
I'm batting
you gotta,
like
for
30.
those you really gotta like, to be fair, you gotta kind of dive into stats. But
Titus.
Yeah.
I mean, batting crown is certainly Eric Titus's to lose right
My
now.
computer will not load anything. I can't.
I mean, think about this. Eric Titus has 18 hits, and the next closest, well, he's in second right now for the most total hits at 18 behind Connor Vermelia, who has 21, but Eric has done that in only 3 games. Bambino's only played 3 games. He's got 5 more games to work with, and he's played in less games than everybody, and he's in second place.
So I'm thinking it's probably pretty safe to say that Blake gets the pitching crown along with MVP. I'm thinking. Unless I see it either going one of 2 ways. I think Eric will either win the batting crown and the MVP, or Blake's going to win the pitching crown and the MVP.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think Blake gets pitching crown, Eric gets the hitting crown, and then it's the toss up between those two for MVP. We'll see how people vote it.
I mean, I think Connor Vermelia could give Eric a run for batting still, just because Connor's got well, they only have 2 games left though.
I feel like that's always a thing though. I feel like Connor's always given Eric a run for his money, or Colton.
Yeah, Connor's finished second place in the batting crown race, the batting crown like voting at the end of the year, like literally 5 or 6 times. It's kind of bad.
I feel bad for him.
That poor guy.
One of these seasons, he's going to get over the hump. It's going to I see it happening. Lock it in, JL26, Connor Vermilion's batting crown. Josh
Burkhart could still be in the mix. He's got 4 games left to play. He's got 13 hits and he's hitting 371.
He had 10 hits in a game this year, right?
It's not.
Against the Sasquatches, I'm pretty sure. I think so.
Yeah, so I don't remember. But then Blake and Owen both have 17 hits too, but they're both on the underdog, so only have 2 games left. So you kind of have to factor like who's got games remaining to come.
But they have 2 games against the Fog and the Cobras.
True.
They
True.
could go off.
They could get to 30 hits for sure.
Okay, what else we got? I mean, fielding crown. I think
Fielding crown could go a lot of different ways right now.
So he's gonna get it.
That's one where like there's just so many less stats. There's not really like true separation until you get like kind of towards the end.
I think the 2 names that come to mind are Ethan and Allen in this. I would say
Allen, Probably not, because he just won't really have the numbers. Like he only
It's
has
just Tegan just
one
doesn't give up
fielding out, two
hits. So
stops,
it's like,
15. Yeah, just doesn't give up much. Brady Hammer, I forgot how to say his last name on my team. He's got 13 combined.
yeah. So who? I
stops
guess who is the leader right now in
with
that
with
regard?
no errors. Then you got Ethan Erickson, who's got 11 combined. He's got 4 fielding outs too. His fielding percentage is 65%, which is significantly less than Brady's, which is 76. But I think that is just because Ethan tries for more. So I feel like people don't usually penalize guys on like what their fielding percentage. It's more like errors, which
Yeah.
Ethan only
So
has 1 error.
something
Brady
you would.
doesn't have any though.
So you're thinking Brady's in the running in the lead for that?
Um, Probably either him or Ethan, because then you got Jordan Newkirk, who's got 4 fielding outs and 8 stops too, 12 combined, 75%.
He did have that gross catch against me.
But he's got 2 errors.
Yeah.
And people recognize that he just gets a lot more opportunities, I think, because of the team he
Plays on.
yeah.
What else? What other work we got? Manager of the year.
You got 340 left.
Yeah, I can see that. I have the
Manager,
ties.
yeah, that so
That's a toss up
that's a
too.
tougher one. Manager award is always interesting too, because it's like, how do you want to like take it? Do you want to like who did the best roster construction, like who managed their team during actual games the best, like whose team like improved the most from last year?
Yeah, it's an interesting award.
Candidates would maybe be, well, candidates could be you as GM for picking up Reed.
Yeah, I'm like trying to come up with
Newspawn
candidates
kind
for
of
this.
manages you guys though, and he's actually
Yeah, but
pretty
He's done
good.
good.
we
He's
need
done
him.
really
We
good.
need him to show up.
I mean, there's the thing about the Lynx with them like getting Matt Morton is he still hasn't like been able to play this year, so that hasn't really like paid itself. They're kind of just so far the same team that were last year.
So would like Brandon?
Brandon
He-
Viali would like you could
Would he be a candidate?
but so like yeah, he did a good job. Like when he took over as owner, they were like they had nothing, and now he like
they
instantly
have
made
something.
himself a good team of like what they have, but also they're not really meeting expectations, and they're really not even that much better than they were last year. They just like look completely different on paper. So I don't know if people would really look at that the same way for him. You
We got
could
2 minutes.
I mean, you maybe you just I don't know. This could be a tough one. Oh, I know. Well, maybe Gage Metzger and the Bison.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. Yeah. That's
he
a.
lost Krister and Joey, and he just brought in Keegan Hammer, and he
And
kept
Keegan
Landon.
Hammer has one of the best batting averages in the
Yeah,
league
and he
right now.
stuck with Landon, even though Landon didn't do very well last year, and now Landon's doing fairly well, and he just picked up Zach Warren, if that pays off at all, and like they're still winning. So like he kind of just lost his whole roster and then just like brought some other guys in and like just kept the ball rolling, like nothing happened. So I feel like, yeah, depending on how they finish, maybe him for sure would probably
Yeah.
be.
What about most
consider
improved
that.
and outstanding comeback? We got a minute left.
Let me think.
I think most improved. I think Owen is probably locked that. I
Yeah,
don't.
or maybe Keegan Hammer. I mean, he
Yeah, that too. I
Did
think
y'all
it's
see me playing JL20?
no.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Dude, the other one, honestly, that people aren't thinking about for most improved, but he has actually like really good stats. It's just they're so good, and he's just kind of buried on the depth chart because that is Trey Hartley on the Bambinos.
Yeah.
But he's a good player.
Yeah.
This is gonna end at like
Yeah. All right. We got less than a minute. We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week on the
Poverty
Podcast.
podcast.
Poverty Pod.
Poverty pod.